welcome back to the Sportster project. Today we are going to center and mount the front wheel. There's lots of ways you can go about this. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. There's other ways to do it. There's several videos out there, so you can choose who you want to listen to. And if it ain't me, I understand. But there's not really a wrong way to do it. It just has to work. So here we go. First we need the wheel. First I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Get it close to the middle. Now I'm going to measure with a tape. Make sure I'm the same on both sides. So I'm going to go right from here. I'm going to go right from here, the actual wheel itself. And that is dead on 2 1/4. On the other side, I'm at 2 1/2. So if I bring them both to 2 3/8, should be right there. All right, we're dead nuts 2 3/8 on each side, so that should be perfectly centered. So now, I'll take me a black Sharpie and make a mark. On both sides. Now that I've marked that with black marker, I'm going to just take a scribe a line in my marker mark. And the same on the other side. And now we'll take the wheel back out. I'm going to measure those marks. Measure our scribe lines. And these don't have to be super perfect. They have to really just be kind of close. So I'm going to call that 1.965 inches. these great big spacers came with the front end, so I've got plenty of room to shorten that spacer and get me where I need to be. So I'm just going to scribe that with the end of my caliper. Or maybe the end of my caliper in a Sharpie, like so. So that's in the lathe. Again, does not have to be super perfect. So now I'll get my parting tool ready to go, and we'll just cut the excess off. All right, before I turn this thing on, I just want you to know that I am not a professional machinist. So if you are, and this is a little cringy, I apologize. But we're just going to use this to cut this axle spacer down, and then the front wheel will fit nicely. So here we go. You can see where my scribe line is, but I'm not going to go right up to it. I'm going to leave just a little bit and then finish it nicely with this tool. Let's see how we do. Change cutting tools, and come back in. This doesn't have a carriage lock, so I'm just going to use the half nut to lock it. Just going to come in until I touch. And add about 5 thou. There's the factory end. There's my end. Nice and clean, nice and flat, smooth across. And I believe we said we wanted 1.965. And we are at 1.940, so we're about 20 thou short, but that's all right because there's a washer that has to go in there too. So we'll slide it back together, we'll mark it again, and we'll cut the other one. And we'll make some measurements too. so high. All right. So right up against that. And I'm just a little shy of 2 3/8. I'm about 1/8 shy of 2 3/8, but that's okay because there's a washer that goes in there. So if I put my washer in there, now we're right on 2 3/8, right where we want to be. So I'm going to scribe lines on this side again. I did on 2 3/8 over here too, so that's good. So my measurement on the other side comes to 2 inches and 25 thousandths. So let's make it happen. Alright, so I'm all lined up with my scribe line on this side. I'm just going to touch off on that scribe line. So it's a little more obvious and easy to see. And that's where my cut's going to end. See how we did. We're still a little long. I'll take another 1/10 hour off. Two inches and 22 thousandths. Close enough. And again, there's my face, my end on this, and here's the factory end. So that's why I chose to do this with a lathe, so I can get a nice perpendicular cut across the end that's nice and smooth and flat and flush and pretty. All right, those are cut. So, got my washer. A spacer, my wheel, my spacer, and my other washer. So let's tighten her up. See where we measure out. Dead on 2 3/8. And dead on 2 3/8. We nailed it. So now for the next adventure, the brake. Mm-hmm. This all has to come on and off about 100 more times anyway. And before I'm done, I'll put anti-seize on the axle. There we go. Let's see how this spacer fits. Oh, it's pretty damn close, isn't it? Let's check my measurements. That spacer is exactly the same as the one I just cut. How convenient is that? So, still just test fitting, so no grease or anything yet. This must go to the inside. It does go to the inside, but this goes to the outside. Let's fit this guy. This will all get a liberal coating of grease when it goes on the final time. All right. Oh, look at that. It's fucking beautiful. That's going to work. And I'm going to have to build a spacer. I'm going to have to build a spacer back here, because that's going to not go like that. But that's all right too. So let's find some nuts and bolts. See if maybe I can find a spacer. A lot of guys don't run a front brake on a Springer like this, but I am going to run a front brake. So I need a nice long 3/8. My fingers don't want to work, it's cold out here. All right, so essentially this is how it's going to be after the final installation on the axle and wheel and tire and brake. So I'm going to go ahead and put some anti-seize on that axle and grease up the things for the brake. Wish I had a little spring to put in there, but I think it'll be all right. And maybe I can put a big fat washer back there. Well, I really can't though, because the whole thing has to move. Yeah. Now anyway, I can get the axle in and torqued. I've got some aluminum bar stock on the way to cut spacers for the handlebars. So when that comes in, I will also make a spacer for this. And then that can have its final install. But in the meanwhile, I can measure for my brake line. No, I can't because I don't have handlebars. Well, anyway, I can get the, I guess I can get the wheel torque down for the final time and get the axle grease and everything and do the final install for that. And that will be good at least. So at least there's that. There we go. I don't see the need to film that. I'm going to put anti-seize on the axle. I'm going to use marine grease in here. And I'm going to grease all my grease fittings. And that's pretty much it. So here we are. The wheel essentially is installed. I might swap this out for a stainless bolt too. But anyway, that's all I'm going to film today, because you don't need to see me struggle with the axle to put grease on it again. This is what it's going to be. So she's coming along. Handlebars are the next step, and then the gas tank and carburetor, and then she'll be riding again. So yeah. Good times. I'll take those bags off at some point too.